Real life is full of little annoyances, like stepping on Lego, or missing your bus, or being unable to think of a third thing. Video games are likewise full of little annoyances, but unlike real life, which continues to plague us with floor Lego, video games are constantly trying to fix these inconveniences with simple, satisfying solutions. So let's all take a moment to appreciate the ways games came through for us with simple fixes for irritating stuff. Also, beware of some minor spoilers for the following games.
Oh, you've got to be kidding me!
Video game bosses are supposed to be hard, sure, but there's a small but significant difference between challenging yet rewarding and frustrating to the point where you angrily eject the disc and frisbee it onto the railroad tracks. To my mind, nestled firmly in the second category are multi-stage bosses. You know the ones. They have one health bar and one way of attacking you, you work hard to learn their patterns and counterattack, and then, just as victory is within your grasp, they gain an ally, or acquire several new health bars, or just gain access to a new unblockable instant kill attack that completely negates the last 20 minutes of solid effort you put in chipping away their health bar.
Here I come! Eyes on the prize!
And then you're back to square one, having to repeat the bit the game already knows you can do before you even get the chance to try some different tactics on the bit you can't do. And also, probably, sit through a cutscene you've already seen several times.
We can beat them!
Well, I'm glad you're confident, Tifa. That's why it's always such an unexpected kindness to play a video game that has decided to fix this frustrating formula by including mid-boss checkpoints. There's nothing as relieving as dying during a tough boss fight, restarting, and realizing that you're just back at the start of the stage of the boss that you got to, not all the way back before you even entered the room.
The shadow remains cast!
You see this? Bayonetta respects my time. It depends on the boss fight, of course. Checkpointing like this doesn't make sense in a game where dying over and over again is kind of the point, like the Souls games, but for long multi-stage boss fights that are built around spectacle, I'll take checkpoints every time. Thank you, game. The QTEs we'll talk about.
In video games, we like to always be prepared, where prepared means carrying an inventory full of things that we don't need right now, but might need at some point.
Over the next 3 hours.
Better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it is what we always say, while hoovering up every available item regardless of value, immediate usefulness, or how it's a discarded sex toy. The inconvenient downside of this approach is the tendency to run out of inventory space. There are few experiences less immersive than having to pause mid-mission to Marie Kondo your gigantic collection of guns. Thank you, Power Assault Rifle, but you do not spark joy. And there are few things more aggravating than being told you literally can't squeeze another item in your overstuffed pockets. This is why we are so relieved when a game lets us off the hook of tedious inventory management just a little bit.
Protection from bullets, ho!
Like in Borderlands, for instance, where at least if you have a full inventory but need to pick up a quest item, the game will just be cool and give you an extra slot for it. Or like in the Demon's Souls remake, in which you can send items directly to your remote storage if you simply don't have the space for them. This is a marked improvement on the burden mechanic in the original Demon's Souls, which meant if you maxed out your item limit, you would have to drop stuff until you could move again.
I would be happy to lighten your load and look after any excess baggage.
And if you died or returned to the Nexus, you would lose that stuff permanently. So thanks again to the new Demon's Souls, which did everyone this big, simple, life-improving favour, leaving us free to worry about the important things, like getting mashed into a paste by this guy.
Look, swimming is terrible. We all know it. It's slow and wet, and if you're doing it in the ocean, there's a non-zero chance that a literal sea monster will poison you, or electrocute you, or swallow you whole. No thanks. Swimming is, however, also sometimes necessary, especially if you want to move through water without any kind of aquatic conveyance. Thankfully, this doesn't happen too often, but when it does, some games are much better at making it as painless as possible, while others seem to actively want to make you suffer. For example, fall into the harbour while being chased by the police in Saint Denis in Red Dead Redemption 2, and you may as well reload a save, because the alternative is 20 minutes of this while you look for a ladder to climb out. The loading screens are less than 20 minutes, pretty sure. Much better is the Saints Row series, which realises that no one wants to spend any amount of time swimming back to land once they've done whatever it is they wanted to do in the water, and so included a warp to shore option, which allows you to press a single button and end up back on dry land. It's such a simple and user-friendly thing to include, and yet it's amazing how few games choose to have it as an option. Come on folks, be like Saints Row! I mean, in this very specific way. Let's not go overboard here.
I hope you are into scat play.
The Vex are at it again. Want to bet they're converting Europa into another machine world? We better put a stop to it.
There are only 3 things we fear in this life. Spiders, clowns, forgetting to pick up an item in a video game, spider clowns. Okay, 4 things. The greatest of all these fears is the third one though, the one where we lie awake at night sweating about what would happen if we were to defeat a baddie and they dropped a precious piece of loot and we were too busy basking in our own magnificence to pick it up. That overlooked item would then be lost forever, whatever it was, uncollected and unloved. It's then we remember with infinite gratitude how certain special games, like Destiny 2 for instance, have fail-safe measures to keep you from permanently losing out on your hard-earned loot.
Hi, Guardian.
In Destiny 2, this failsafe is the Postmaster, an unbelievably helpful robot who runs a kind of interplanetary lost and found.
Checking.
Every time you go to orbit, the diligent Postmaster gathers up all the high-quality gear you so carelessly left behind, like your best friend who grabs the keys and phone you left in the back of the Uber because you are an adorable mess.
Check, check, check. All done.
The Postmaster then holds on to your missing loot until you swing by the tower to collect it, never once judging you for being a light-bearing ditz, we assume.
Hi there.
Similarly, if you fail to pick up a unique item in God of War, the dwarf blacksmiths Brock and Sindri have your back. They've got their own lost and found department for whatever Kratos leaves behind, like Frozen Flames, or Chaos Flames, or Atreus when he's in one of his moods.
We're sick of hearing about little people's little problems.
Except not the last one.
Father, how do I save him?
I don't have a great sense of direction at the best of times, let alone when there are monsters trying to kill me. And let's face it, video game maps are not exactly what you would call easy to read. Maybe I need to unlock some new cyberware to be able to read this map. Some games include heads-up displays that show you which direction to go for your next objective, others give you a minimap, but the video games that truly love and respect you are the ones that give you some kind of in-game GPS that shows you exactly where you need to go to advance the story. You might remember this from BioShock, where a helpful arrow tells you where you're supposed to be going, while Ghost of Tsushima lets you swipe up on the touchpad at any point during the game, and something called the Guiding Wind will show up and usher you towards your currently selected objective. Even Dead Space, one of the most stressful games in existence, will help you out by gently taking you by the hand and guiding you to your objective with Isaac's GPS floor laser. Although considering that the thing it's guiding you towards is more necromorphs, you might be better off ignoring it.
I am sworn to carry your burdens.
So, you've just returned from an epic quest, doing your duty as a world-saving adventurer, and all you want to do is kick back, relax, and organise your soul gem collection. Except, oh no, you've left them all in a different storage chest in one of your many other houses. Nightmare. We've all been there, in the kind of game where you can stash your arcane equipment and fun hats in one place, then wind up in another place with no access to your stuff, because this is the chest where you keep your skulls and cheeses. I have a system, okay? As much as we appreciate the technical realism of storage vessels all over the world not containing literally everything you own, we're also extremely busy heroes who need access to our things with maximum convenience. So we're very on board with the useful unrealism of having linked storage, such that you can retrieve your items from any of these containers anywhere in the game. Yes, Resident Evil, your strictly limited inventory space might be an essential element of the Resident Evil survival horror experience, but we're forever in your debt that we don't have to schlep our way back to the police station main hall every time we need a first aid spray.
It's an unavoidable fact of video game life that you're going to be spending a lot of time fighting people. Unless you're playing Minecraft or something, I guess. And sometimes even then. The point is, a lot of video games involve combat encounters, which can be stressful, arduous, and, obviously, deadly, both to your enemies and, regrettably, you. That's why I personally am a huge fan of when games decide to give you a break and include some kind of indicator to let you know that you've finished off the final enemy in that particular encounter. That's how you know that combat is now over and you can relax and start hoovering up all the ammo and loot your luckless enemies left behind. Sometimes this is a sound effect, like the violins in BioShock Infinite. Other times, the music will change to let you know you can relax. Or maybe your companion characters will just straight up tell you that it's over and you can chill out.
Any left? I don't think so.
Nice, thanks. This is great because it gives you a definite endpoint to combat encounters and also makes it much less likely that some enemy you've overlooked is going to pop out of a corner and dome you while you're trying to go through his dead mate's pockets. It can also be useful to let you know when a fight has actually started. There's nothing quite like minding your own business, only for the combat music to start playing to keep you on your toes.
Did you hear?
Sorry, I didn't realise you had music. I'll just be going now.
Okay friends, that's your lot. Thank you so much for joining us for this, a 7 Things List video brought to you by Outside Xbox. We appreciate you being here each and every Thursday for a new one. And if you're not here each and every Thursday for a new one, why not click the bell icon and ask for a notification so you'll be told every time there's a fresh one on the internet. We'll see you for that one. Bye!